Hello and good morning. I'm Gareth.Almeida and I'm here to give you a speech, an informative speech on smoking tobacco. Winston Goldflake called up his friend David and went off to Dunhill Mount on a camel. On their journey, they stopped at Pall Mall bowling alley for a lucky strike. Then Winston, he hurt his hand and he was in agony, so he called up his friend Philip Morris, who lived nearby in Marlborough Town. But unfortunately, Philip had gone to the Parliament on official matters. Now tell me, that story didn't remind you of anything, especially like a cigarette? If it didn't, then of course you don't smoke, and you surely have not paid attention to these brands. In this presentation, I would like to highlight three things. Number one being the history and the evolution of tobacco. Number two, how tobacco has impacted the human body. And number three, the persuasive measures taken by the community to control tobacco. Tobacco. What is tobacco? Tobacco is a green, leafy plant that is grown in warm climates. After it is being picked, the leaves are being picked and dried and ground up. It is used in different ways. Namely, you could smoke it in a cigarette, you could smoke it in a pipe, or you can buy a cigar. It can be chewed and also sniffed. Tobacco has a long history. Starting from North America, Marjorie Jacob states in her book, The First to the Last Ash, the Mayan Indians of Mexico carved drawings showing the use of tobacco. These drawings dated way back to 600 to 900 AD. Tobacco was grown by Indian Americans, or American Indians, you may call, before the Europeans came to America. The first commercial cigarette was made in 1865 by Washington Duke, and he sold them to the soldiers after the Civil War. It was until James Monsac invented the cigarette machine in 1881, where cigarettes suddenly took a mass growth in production. But Buck Duke and his father started the first tobacco company in the United States, and which still runs as the American Tobacco Company. During World War II, women started smoking cigarettes more often, and while their husbands were away. According to Surgeon General's government site, in 1964, the Surgeon General of the United States wrote a report about the dangers that tobacco has. This was the first warning that was given. In fact, it's been 50 years since then today. Therefore, they started labeling the cigarette packs with a warning saying, cigarettes may be hazardous to your health, but today it reads, smoking kills. Since the 1980s, the federal, state government and private companies had begun taking actions to restrict cigarette smoking in public areas. Since now I have taken you to the evolution of tobacco, let's look into how tobacco impacts our bodies. The ingredients of a cigarette causes many diseases, like cancer and heart diseases. Let's look at a few familiar chemicals cigarettes whole. I've taken these from the Quitline, a government site in Australia, as a source. Carbon monoxide found in car exhaust. Nicotine was found in bug spray. Tar found on the streets. Arsenic found in rat poison. Ammonia found in cleaning products. Hydrogen cyanide was found in gas chambers. Cyanide known to be a deadly poison, if you've heard. The World Health Organization in 2014 says that there are more than 4,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke, for which at least 250 are harmful chemicals, while 50 of them are very cancerous. The National Cancer Institute in 2011 says smoking harms every organ of the human body, almost every organ of the human body, and it diminishes a person's overall health. We find many Americans, millions of Americans, that have smoke-caused problems. Lungs quickly absorb nicotine and other chemicals which directly go from the heart to the brain. Nicotine then increases the heart rate and blood pressure and gives a smoker this rush that they enjoy very much. When it wears off, it's the opposite effect, where they feel down and low, while the rush is gone. But what they do is, they smoke one cigarette after the other before it wears off, and that is how cigarettes are addictive. There is no safe level of second-hand smoking or passive smoking. According to the World Health Organization, again in 2014, in adults, second-hand smoking causes serious cardiovascular and respiratory diseases, including heart attacks and lung cancer. It causes sudden death for pregnant women and also a low birth weight for the newborns, which could be quite dangerous. Almost 50% of children regularly breathe the air polluted by tobacco smoke. Over 40% of children have at least one smoking parent. Second-hand smoke causes more than 600,000 deaths per year. In 2004, children associated for 28% of deaths attributed to second-hand smoking. Now, we have understood the impact smoking brings to the human body and how very alarming the statistics are. But let's look at a few ways that the communities have taken to stop or prevent this habit. Stephen in 2011 speaks about paying people to give up smoking. Well, clearly, the incentives for the personal financial incentives are more likely to succeed. So, it is not that convenient to pay people. Public education campaigns on tobacco control are held in many governments and private organizations. Decreasing the rate of smoking in communities by banning them smoking in public areas like bus stands, cinemas, and other public areas. The campaigns on mutations, the I Can Quit campaign, also done by the New South Wales government in Australia, and many more campaigns around the world in this day. The annual death toll is to rise up to 8 million by 2030, according to the World Health Organization. In a nutshell, I have taken you on a journey highlighting the evolution of tobacco from the stages of being a wild plant to the mass production. And also, we have looked at how tobacco has impacted our human bodies. Finally, we looked into the preventive measures that are being implemented to minimize the spread of this habit, despite the fact that it still continues as a much opted preference by large around the globe today. Thank you very much for your patience and time. Very much.